Let's go. Welcome to another great episode of the Sick Podcast, Rams Recap. And of course, it's your boy LQ. And I'm very happy for very obvious reasons, man. I mean, honestly, the first half of the portion of the show, I'm probably just going to be talking my trash to the rest of the division. But the NFC West champions are here. So I don't want to waste any more time. Sammy, let's get the intro.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Rams Recap with LaQuan Jones.
They rush forward. Throw to Fulford. He's hit. He's hit. He's sacked. He throws it away. He flings it away on fourth down. Aaron Donald got there, and you can build that man's statue out SoFi Stadium right now. The greatest of all time on defense. Does it in the biggest moment of Super Bowl 56.
The sickest Los Angeles Rams podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Let's go. Talk about me going to bed early, because if you do know me, follow me, understand what my job entails, I'm up all types of hours of the day. I'm a night owl, whatever the case may be. But I did not watch that Commanders game to the very end because I had work. But man, thank you, the Washington Commanders, for sealing the deal for us, the Rams, and the Rams fans of the NFC West division. We are the top dogs, and honestly, it was a journey just to get here, because I know you all remember when we were 2-4 at one point, bottom division. We had 49ers fans in our DMs, on their comment sections, talking all types of trash online, in person at the games, etc., etc. I almost bust out laughing now, because guess where they're at? They're on the couch with meaningless games for the rest of the season. Only one more game for them to just go out there and lose tonight against the Lions. Now, honestly, I'm looking at our division, man, and it's one heck of a division. Like, it was a hard-fought battle for us to get to this point. But I told you guys, after that bye, we are the most dangerous team in the NFL. And here we are. We are the third seed NFC West champions. Oh, my God. Now we have the Seahawks in a meaningless game, because it doesn't matter win or lose. They are a team that are just in our way to rest our players at this point. But honestly, I want to take this time and want to really point out the Rams fans that didn't believe. Shame on you for not believing. Shame on you getting worried about the Buffalo Bills. Shame on you questioning if we were going to beat the Jets. Shame on you worried about the last two games against the Cardinals and the Seahawks, because we already know Matthew Stafford is dangerous in December. 13-1. Yes, 13-1 since he's been a Ram in December. This is one of those stats that actually means something, because, again, we faced a tons of injuries, a tons of personnel changes on the O-line, et cetera, and we still made it out to win 10 games. So shout out to the Rams fans that believed, and we are not going to shame, and kick out the Rams fans that didn't believe, because we are not here to divide us. We are here to come together. But, man, it does feel good to wake up as an NFC West champion, thanks to the Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels. But we can't be showing praise to the Commanders that much, because there is a scenario that we do play them or the Packers. And honestly, playing Jaden Daniels at SoFi, and you don't want to play a mobile quarterback, because honestly, we know as the Rams fans and the Rams Nation that we struggle against mobile quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels is so dangerous, and we watched him last night put up over 150 yards on the ground, or 127 yards on the ground. So we're looking at Jaden Daniels as a guy that we need to stop and game plan for. This is an offense that they didn't need Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin only had one catch last night, and still was able to find other areas of the field, to find other players to show up and show out and come out with a victory. This is what scares me. We lack at the tight end position, so Zach Ertz, he definitely will be somebody that we need to have on the top of the board of priority to not let get loose and go crazy. So the scenario is, if there is another scenario, but if the Commanders lose against the Cowboys and the Packers win, the Packers will then move up to the 6th seed. They're currently the 7th seed. And then if the Commanders win and the Packers lose, the Packers remain the 7th seed. So therefore, we will be going against the Commanders at home, Jaden Daniels and company. But there is a scenario that I rather prefer, and that's obviously against the Packers. And when I go back to that Packers game early in the season, week 5, when we look at that game and we look at the score, 24-19, this is an opponent that I'd rather have in that first round of the playoffs so we can knock off and get out of the way. And I say that because That game, we had no Puka Nacua. There was no Cooper Kupp. We still had injuries on the O-line. We weren't running the ball as much as we're running it now since that Saints game. So there was a bunch of variables there. Our defense was still trying to figure out our identity. We still had pressure on Jordan Love, but we let things like Tucker Kraft go crazy and get loose. We let Josh Jacobs have a productive game. 73 yards and a touchdown. That's pretty productive for a guy that averaged less than 4.0 yards per carry. So we need to get these things on the list and on the radar when we do face this team, because they're not facing the same Rams team. Because like I said, all those missing pieces, all the shuffling around, and hey, there was no Omar Spates there as well. Troy Reader was still at the linebacker position. A lot of missing variables out of that Packers game that we almost won. We almost won that game. We were down by one possession, and I think you run that game back, the Packers will struggle. We watched them struggle against the Vikings. Let them come against this Rams team. They're going to be very sorry that they ended up in that 6th, 7th seed or whatever they want to be at and tried to go against the Rams at home again and try to come out with a victory, because this defense is a complete different beast, because you look at these last 3 games, less than 10 points, ladies and gentlemen. This is a historical moment within this defense with Chris Shula. So shout out to him getting this defense right and ready. I haven't seen this defense play with identity since Wade Phillips, in my opinion. This is not a defense that I had on my chalkboard saying, yeah, this player's going to do this player's going to do that. Cam Curl showing up. You have Jalen McLaughlin. You have Omar Spates, Jared Verse, Brandon Fisk. I mean, look, game ball obviously goes to Witherspoon as well, getting that interception off of Trey McBride dome. I mean, look, honestly, I was standing up for the last 20 minutes of that game in front of the TV like a psycho. My wife telling me to sit down. My kids are wondering why I'm standing up watching this game. And look, when I get in that mode, I need to be focused on every single play, because I feel like the juju is within me. If I stand up dead center 5 inches from the TV screen, I feel like that gives the Rams the energy. And honestly, shout out to Rams fans showing up Saturday, because, man, we showed up, showed out. It was nothing but blue in those stands. We put 49er fans to bed. Talk about we don't show up to our games. Yeah, we show up to the games. We show up to the games. We show up and show out, and we give the energy to the Rams. It's like, you ever watch Dragon Ball Z? I don't know if anybody's watched Dragon Ball Z or not, but I am a huge fan. And honestly, Goku with his spirit bomb, and he needs all the energy from the Earthlings. We gave all the energy to Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, and an entire Rams team to go out there, handle business like we did, even though it was an ugly win, but we still went out there and handled business. So honestly, I much rather us face the Packers than the Commanders. But if it is the Commanders, I'm not going to shy away from that, because I've said this before. I ain't scared of nobody's secondary. I ain't scared of nobody defense. Even though the Rams offense has stalled at times, we still have issues in the red zone. We still have issues on 3rd down. These are things that I think will correctly get adjusted with Sean McVay, because Sean McVay is in what we trust to make these adjustments on the back end of the season, as you see before, and in the playoffs when it matters the most. I'm just glad, honestly, not saying that I'm scared of the Lions. I'm just glad we're not seeing them in the first round like we did last year. I much rather the Cowboys last year in that first round, but certain things got messed up, seeding and all type of scenarios that, that are endlessly going on right now. But I definitely feel like I don't want to shy away from these opponents. I definitely feel as though this offense will get back on track, because honestly, the biggest problem to me, honestly, if we're going to be serious, is that Cooper Kupp is not being Cooper Kupp. These last 3 games have not been great. Only 4 catches in the last 3 games, guys. That's not what the Cooper Kupp that we know and love. And I think he needs to show up at least next game. He needs some reps to show that there's still life there, show that he could still get open, because I watched all 27 of his routes against the Cardinals, and some of those routes he was not getting separation. They were on him like white on rice. And then there was a couple of balls where, Matthew Stafford just kind of just looked the other way to Puka Nacua, which is fine. But there are some areas of concern. We need to get DeMarcus Robinson back involved. We need to get Tutu Atwell back involved. More involved to where we don't have to have the wide receiver 3 just completely be irrelevant. We need them as sneaky guys to get behind the defense and make the big plays, because red zone Robinson's a real thing. We're having red zone issues, but we're not looking at red zone Robinson as of late. We need to get him more involved in the red zone so we can get some more touchdowns. When you go back to that Packers game, Robinson showed up. He showed up with no Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp, found the end zone. You look at Tutu Atwell, made some big plays downfield. We need to get back to that, where we're utilizing these guys to be the threats that I know they are. Now, with Cooper Kupp on his slope, on his down, there needs to be another adjustment. Let's get some more checkdowns to Kyron Williams or Blake Corum, whoever you want to have back there at that running back position. There's a lot of things and a lot of kinks that we need to figure out going into this playoffs game, because honestly, I don't want to go out there putting up only 13 points in the first round of the playoffs, guys. No, we're a team that could put up 40. We've done it. We put up 40 against the Bills. We've done it. Better defenses, honestly. Bills' defense, in my opinion, are way better than the Commanders, way better than the Packers overall. Well, maybe not better than the Packers, but overall better than the Commanders. Even Dan Quinn, you got him as a head coach over there, ex-defensive coordinator. That defense had its ups, has its downs, but I've seen the Commanders secondary get beat on some blown coverages and et cetera, et cetera. This could be where Cooper Kupp gets back to being sneaky, getting behind coverages on the big plays. So there's so many variables, like I said, that we need to fix before we get into this playoff game, because we are the most dangerous team in the NFL. And now somehow they let us get into the playoffs. And I know all the other teams are regretting that this happened. I mean, there's plenty of fingers to point. I mean, honestly, I don't think the Cardinals were going to come out with a win, but they did get us an ugly win. But at the end of the day, I don't fear any team out there now. I feel like we're the Super Saiyans of the group. So we're the invincible team now that we can go out there and accomplish anything with this secondary, with this all defensive line, with this O-line actually showing up as well. I want to give some love to the trenches as well. Matthew Stafford not playing like Matthew Stafford. I mean, that's a conversation to be had, but I will save it for the pod later this week before I get into my grievances with Matthew Stafford, because this is Victory Monday. I'm not going to sour the mood going in on Matthew Stafford, but he knows what he has to do. I mean, we're all watching the same game. It's not Matthew Stafford of, 2021 Super Bowl Matthew Stafford. This is Matthew Stafford, a more conservative, making some plays that are kind of questionable, some interceptions that, don't need to be there, and almost interceptions. It's more so he's throwing with his eyes closed. But again, I said I'll get into this later in the pod. But more so, man, we need to lock in. We need to have these things adjusted, fixed before we get to the big dance, because honestly, there's no real, scenario that I see us really just going out there and putting up less than 20 points. There's no way Sean McVay will have us going out there doing that. I mean, honestly, I would be disappointed as a Rams fan, and I probably, shut the TV off in first quarter, second quarter if we start out slow. But even McVay knows that we need to start off fast, hard, and get into the red zone and score. These are the things that are just simple as life. I mean, honestly, we've done it before. This is an offense that can go out there and put up big points. But at the end of the day, these things don't happen if we don't put the practice in, we don't put the tape in, we don't go out there, take care of our bodies, and not go out there, do stupid things after the game. DeMarcus Robinson. But like I said, this ain't a pity party. It's Victory Monday. But man, what a game against the Cardinals. What a game we got coming up against the Seahawks. I mean, it's unfortunate how their season ended up, though. But, I mean, you have your ups and downs with Geno Smith, and that defense was looking good in the beginning of the season, and then the middle of the season it fell apart. There's a lot of ups and downs that go on with the NFC West, but, of course, we're the most dangerous team out the West. I don't really have much more. I just want to enjoy this Victory Monday. I want to, pull out the tequila. I mean, look, and we've been celebrating since Saturday. Rams victory, tequila. You guys should go out there and get Tequila 1800. We're not sponsored by anything like that. Hopefully, somebody from the Tequila 1800 department, they're watching. Blanco is my favorite tequila. If you want to send some, send it out, put it on the show. I would preferably want the Rams edition. But, yeah, I mean, overall, I just want you guys to come here, subscribe to the podcast, come here and just hang out. Me giving my thoughts, opinions, and venting my grievances, and basically talk my crap about the 49ers any chance I get, because that's what this podcast is for. It's my platform. I get to do what I want to do on here. Can't do it on the NFL Fantasy Podcast with Marcus being a 49ers fan. I don't want to talk too much trash in front of his face, but maybe I'll get him on the pod once the regular season's over so we can go back and forth and try to iron out what happened with the 49ers earlier this season. But more so, I'm just happy to be here. I want to thank the guys at the Sick Podcast, man, the media company production. This is such a great platform for me. It's been one hell of a season. Hopefully I am happy as I am right now in the playoffs when we come out with a W. So this wraps up another great episode, man. The Sick Podcast Rams recap. Make sure you guys follow me at Real Deal Fantasy on all social media platforms. I'm even on Blue Sky. Find me on LaQuan Jones at Blue Sky. I mean, I don't know why I spelled out my name, but LaQuan Jones at Blue Sky. I'm also on there. You want to talk your crap in the comments because I see all the comments. I'm seeing all the comments. I'm reading all the comments on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. It don't matter. MySpace. If we're still out there talking crap, I'm seeing everything. So please make sure you guys hit me up and we could chat. We can go back and forth. It doesn't matter. The case may be. But make sure you guys are like and subscribe to the pod. Let's run these numbers up. Rams, the most dangerous team out the West. NFC West champions. And I'll see you guys later this week for another great episode of the Rams Recap. Let's go.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Rams Recap with LaQuan Jones on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.